Um, we are going to start straight away. I intend to stop a little bit early today because I have some 2-3 things that I am still pushing on. So you will bear with me, but I know we will cover what we are supposed to cover. So first, I went through the assignments that I had shared. And I want to say that, quite a number of you responded, but still we have a number of us who, for one reason or another, they were not able to send. So I want to still put it open that you can still submit the assignment to me so that I should be able to look at. Now, again, I would expect most of you to forward the assignments in Excel, a file which has been saved in Excel, because sometimes I may really not tell how you arrived at the outcome that you have. So I would suggest that moving forward, you can forward your assignments to, saved in Excel, so that I'm able to open and track what you did. So just to acknowledge that I received assignment from Paul. Thank you very much, Paul Owino. I also received assignment from Janet. I also received assignment from Newton and Diwa. I also received assignment from Diana. And also, just shortly, I received one from John Marty. So thank you very much. I've gone through all those assignments. The only challenge I had was the document from Diana. Even the document that you sent, the latest one, was not able to open. I don't know if Diana, if you are hearing me, maybe I don't know which version of Excel you are running in your computer.
Unless I check, I think it's the 2007 one.
Yes.
I don't know. Yeah, I converted it from WPF to Excel. I still don't understand how it can't be opened.
Yeah, because the one that you even sent, the latest, which I just opened, is not opening. It's reporting some
and it's
corruption.
open as a CSV file.
Maybe
CSV.
you could try that.
Okay.
But you can do it after this, eh? Don't have to do it now.
Yes.
So now what I want to say is, most of us did exercise 3 and 4. I had communicated that you add exercise 5, and most of us were not able to do exercise 5. So I'm going to review in this lesson, and alongside, of course, what you did in the assignment. So most of you were able to use the ampersand symbol, and you are also able to use the concatenate. Now, the only gap that I saw was utilizing the quotation marks, because most of you are able to join whatever you have in the cells, but you are not able to put the text in the quotation. So like I would say, let me share the screen so that I explain exactly what I mean here. So this was the one of the exercises that I had given out, and remember, you are to join this. You are to join this text here. Now, what was missing are these. Let me call them the joining words, and let me have them in red. Yeah, we have these ones where the joining words. Yeah, let me have them in red. Then we have this. Okay. Then we also have this one here. So all the text that are put in red, including this comma here, is basically adjoining what, and all these are supposed to appear in between the quotation marks. Okay. Yeah. So most of you, we are not able to manipulate the use of the spaces. So of course I know this one here was coming from the column of names. So you could be able to pick this from a cell. Okay. Then you are also able to pick 55 from the age column, Okay. And this one was the city where the employee is coming from. And this is the country where the employee is coming from. So you are able to, so most of us were able to join this word here, this one here, and this one. But you see, this is a phrase, this is a sentence which should be continuous, and therefore within the quotation marks you need to have captured these texts which are in what, which are in red. Okay. So ideally in your formula, this part here should appear to be within the brackets. I mean, within the quotation marks like that. Okay. And even this one here, you need to have that. And you also need to have that. Okay. But again, just you need to have spaces in between. Like, for example, I would have a space here. Then at the end of this age, before the other one, before the age itself, I have a space. Then here I also have a space. Then I'll have another space here. Okay. So that one now, by doing that, it will come out very well. I know, John, John Marty, you are able to do that. You are able to do that, and I want to believe that all of us should also be able to manipulate. So the same thing applies to the concatenate function, because again, remember, in between the arguments, the arguments of concatenate function, you are separating them using commas. So within two commas, you need to have this text here. You need to have this text, and that text there must also have a space, just like this one here. Okay. So otherwise, I want to comment you were able to do some work. Some of us copied text to a different worksheet, but I would not encourage you. You just work within the worksheet that you have been given, so that it avoids you to copy from one worksheet to another one. Okay. So that is it. I think with that, the assignment 5, which I want to take you through a little bit. Assignment 5 was actually found in one of the slides, and yeah, we had it here. Now, this one here requires some additional information, which I want to share now. And what happens is that you are to convert just a minute. Okay, sorry, I was answering some urgent call. Okay, thank you very much. Now, what we have here is it was actually using the value function, which I think we talked about and we exhausted last week, because what we said was it converts a string to a numerical value. Okay, when you use the value function. Now, what we were supposed to do here, we are supposed to convert you convert the year into a value, which was a single step by basically using the value function. Okay, and for the second part of this exercise 5, you are to convert the CC of the car into value, and then of course it had 2 steps, and these 2 steps, one of the step would involve splitting the cell into 2. And then once you split the cell into 2, then you can now have the value. I mean, you can now use the value function. And we are going to demonstrate this because the other one is straightforward. So let me open the file. Let me open the file. Okay. Now, when you look at this is the employee data. And in the assignment here, what we are supposed to do is to convert the year into a value. And you can be able to see here that we have the year. Do I have the year here? Okay, no, we are not using this. I think we are supposed to use a different type of data. Yeah, we have the used vehicles data. Sorry, we are not supposed to use this one. I think that should be clear as well. We are supposed to use this data here. Let me close this. We had this data here. Yeah, we have it here. And what we have is, okay, this is employee. I think I had shared this earlier, but I can just go through it. Now, this is data on used vehicles. As you can see here, we have the serial number. We have the, this one here is the name of the vehicle. Then we have the location where the vehicle is. Of course, we have the year. We have the kilometers that has been driven. Of course, when you are buying a vehicle from you're a second owner, then it will have traveled some kilometers. Then we have the transmission. The transmission is either manual, automatic, and so forth. Then we have the owner type. Is it first? Is it second? Then we have the mileage, which it has covered. This one is the mileage. Then we have the engine capacity. Okay, the engine capacity here. Then we have the power. Let me bold this so that they are different. Okay. Okay. Now, what we were supposed to do, now this value here, the year of should be the year of make. then this one here, you convert this column into values. And this one was straightforward because I think the year was captured as a text, and therefore what you required here was just use the value function. And when you're using the value function, you will basically use the function value. So I can have here, of course, you'll have the equal sign, then value, and then we are going to convert this into a value. This is this one here. Then I close that. Okay. Oh, mine was already in converted to value, but I know in the original text it was a text, so it was just basically running the value function, and you are going to have that. You are going to have those values there. Now, in the second part of the assignment, it was converting the CC of the car into 2 steps. So as you can see in this data here, the CC, the engine capacity, of course, is, you can see this column here, that we have a number. It has a number, and it has this part, the text part, which is CC. Okay, this is actually the engine capacity. So what we have here is you are to convert this into a number. But of course, you may not be able to do it directly. And that's why we are saying we had 2 steps. There are 2 steps. So one of the steps which I want to mention here is you separate the values. You do separation first. And when you are separating, you will separate the value itself, and you will separate the text. Okay, you separate the value and the text. That's what you are going to do. Then now in step number 2, you now use the value. Convert to value now. Convert to value. So these are the 2 steps that we are talking about. Now, what happens here? What happens here when you are using when you are separating? What you are going to use is, you are going to use what we call the left function. We have the left function, and you also use what we call the right function. Okay. Now, how does this work? This one will capture text on the left of the cell. Okay. And this other one will capture what is on the right. We are going to demonstrate that. Then now, once you have separated these 2, then now you can now convert the other one into values. So, and we go here. We go here. So that this one becomes clear, I can hide. Let me hide some data here. Let me hide what I don't require. Yeah, maybe I can hide these ones here.
That's what we did, Chemichai. I don't know.
Oh, that's what you did, eh?
Yes.
But I know most of us did exercise 3 and 4, so maybe it will.
Maybe
those who
that's
didn't
what
do.
I did.
Oh, okay, okay, no problem, no problem. Let's just have it as a recap, eh?
Yeah.
Now, so what you do here is we separate this. So we will have the CC. We'll have the CC, which is of course the number. Okay, I can just write like that, so that I am able to have that. So we have number. Then we are going to have here the let me say what? Let me say the unit. And let's have the units like that. So here, what I'm going to have I'll have the equal sign, then I say left. Say left, okay? And within this left here, I want that. And the number of characters that I want, let me say I want what? I want 4 of them. Because I can see a CC is going up to 4 digits, so I can say 4. I can say 4, up to 4 digits. Then I close that, enter. So you can see already, I'm kind of hiving out the first 4 digits, which of course, when I click here, you can see the values will come there. Now, but you see, you'll find that this value is still a text. That's why it is aligned to the left. Okay, so you need to make it to be a value. Of course, the other one, the other bit of the variable is I'll use right. Okay, and this right, I will have. Let me have to the right. Let me have 2. Because just there are just 2. So I'll have this one here. Then a comma. Then 2, because there are 2. CC is 2 characters. So I close that. And you can be able to see that I'm going to have that. So I've successfully separated the 2. And because this one is a text, so I'll basically now finish by step 2, which I will have the CC value. The value. Okay. And this one now I'm going to use the value function. Use the value function and click that. And I'm going to select this. And then I'll basically close. So through these 2 processes, I'm able to convert. I'm able to split first. I split this particular into 2. And we'll have that and that. But of course, whatever we split here will be in form of, it will be a text. And therefore, we will need to convert it to value. That's why we are talking about a 2-step process. So the additional information that we needed to have here was this one here on the left and the right function. And I'm happy that you have it. I'm happy that you had it when you are doing that.
Can you also try this?
Yes.
Just go back to the Excel.
Okay. Are you able to see?
No.
Okay. I need to reshare. Yes, I've shared the. Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Our raw data is here.
Column J or column U?
Column J.
Yes.
Column J. Now, do here is equals to. Do here is equals to. I want first of all to convert. This is already. I want to convert it now to remove the text actually from it. I just want to remove the text from it. So is equals to left.
Left, eh?
Yes.
Correct.
Into bracket.
Yes.
That will be J2.
J2, yes.
J2, comma. Then I will use another function called length. Length.
This one.
Yes.
Yes.
So into bracket. J2, because I want the length of the J2.
J2, yes.
Then I close. Then.
Sorry, I'll have 2.
Just go there. You go here. I want you to put -3 somewhere. Yeah, there. -3. Do -3. -3 and then close.
Then I close like that.
Yes, run.
Okay. Okay. That is new knowledge. The students.
Run. Enter.
So I ran that one.
Yes. So this one, I've removed the value, the the characters, the C, meaning that now I've converted this.
Oh, you subtract 3. You subtract the characters.
Yeah, I've subtracted the characters.
Actually, that should be -3.
Yeah, negative 3. Yeah, -3.
Yeah, -3 means you bring everything on board except 3 from the right.
Yes.
Okay, then, that's another.
Then now you convert this one out to value, because now you convert this one out to number. Yes. So value this.
Yeah, because yes. It's a text already.
It's a text.
Oh, it's okay. That's another way. That's another way. I hope I'm appreciating the fact that you can. There are 2 more ways of killing a rat. Okay, thank you very much for that. So I hope that is clear, unless kuna swali from the floor. Okay. Now I think we can proceed now. So at least you can you can appreciate the fact that unless you know, necessity is a matter of invention. I hope I'm putting it right, because you want to do this and you will go to discover how you're going to do that. Of course, through I remember we said you can always get to YouTube. You can always get to Google and be able to get a solution to something else. So thank you very much for that. So I want to now move on to share what I want to share today. And I'm going to do this one really quick. I would want to stop probably some few minutes past 4. Because I still have something to attend. So, but I'll cover what we want to cover this day, so that I'll share the assignment later.
There is also an XLOOKUP assignment that I thought maybe you could also take us through.
Which one was that? I thought we covered VLOOKUP adequately. I don't know.
No, the XLOOKUP assignment.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Now allow me to recap it when we meet next week, please.
Okay.
Yeah, so that I can. I want to attend to something very urgent at 4. So I'll just take note so that we can recap a little bit at the beginning of next week. Okay. Now, what I want us to look at today is about what we call subtotal and total, grand total. What we want to look at, and we also look at what we call nested subtotals. So this one is pretty straightforward, and I want to believe that even some of us may have used that to do some subtotaling. Now, what I have here is a subtotal. Now, when we talk about a subtotal, of course, you look at it from the point of having a grand total. We have the subtotal, we have a grand total. Now, what happens is that you may have a set of numbers that you want to add. Of course, they could be meeting a particular criteria. Say for example, you are dealing with data that has captured payment of school fees for grade 1 students or grade 1 pupils. What happens is that you may want to have the total paid by that student within a term. Okay, so if you have the total for the whole amount of fees paid, that will be the grand total. But of course, if you want to have it within the term, then we may talk about now the subtotal, because it is the subtotal which actually, when you add all the subtotals, it gives you the grand total. So when you want to sum a set of numbers that that meet some particular criteria or a set, then of course you use the subtotal feature, which is in Excel. Okay, and what happens here is that for those who are from the accounting profession, the accountants with us here, sometimes when you are working with currencies, you want to get a subtotal for for a particular group. Then it will force you to input a row, and that row is going to hold the subtotal. But what we are saying here, subtotal comes in. You don't need to create. The moment you conduct a subtotal in Excel, is going to eliminate the need to manually insert a row. It will automatically insert that row and gives you the sum. And you may not only have the sum, you may also have other functions. You may also have other functions like averages, like means, the average of that. So alongside the subtotals, you may also have other functions. If you want the sum, that's okay. If you want the average, that's okay. You may have other functions alongside the submission. So basically, subtotal, eliminates the idea of you creating that particular row. Okay. So and it's going to insert automatically, and you can remove at any point in time. So how do we conduct this? As I said, it is straightforward. The procedure is here. Of course, when you have your Excel worksheet open, you will basically sort, because we are saying you will have the subtotal in groups. If the data is not sorted, then you have to sort it first. Okay, and you can do sorting by using the sort and filter button in the home tab. I think we had looked at this earlier. You have to, you sort by a particular column, and then the moment you insert the subtotal, then it's going to have subtotal within those groups. So after sorting, if it's not sorted, then of course it's going to sometimes it's going to select the entire set of data. Okay, and you must select plus the column headers. By column headers, I mean the let me open this so that we can use as an example. Now I have some data here. I have some data here. So let me yeah, so I want to remove this one first. Okay. Now I have this data here, which I picked it from some material. Now here we have a collection of amount which has been paid by some students here, and you can see here that I have in the header or in the labels, what we are calling the column headers. So we have the term. There's some noise, background noise. Okay.
I've muted.
So we have term. We have.
I've muted.
Yes?
I've muted.
Okay. Yeah, so we have the term. We have the last column, last name, and then first name, we have admission number, then we have the amount. This amount is in Kenya shillings. And you can see here that this data is kind of sorted. Yeah, because I have term 1, and term 1, I have 2 students there. Then we have term 2. Then we have term. They are sorted in a way, yeah? They have been sorted as per in groups. So what I want to have here is we want to do the selection. Remember, what we are saying here is that you will select the entire range of data, including the columns. So you can see you select the entire range of the data, and you also include the column headers. When you talk about the column headers, we are basically talking about these labels here, including that. Okay, and in fact, what happens is when you want to to carry out the subtotal procedure, sometimes it automatically selects, but if it doesn't, then you need to select all the data set, including the headers. So that was the point number 3. Then of course on the tab, now you click subtotal, which we are going to do. It is here in the Excel. We have it here. I hope you're able to see that. So you can see we have the subtotal. Sorry, we have the subtotal. Yeah, we have the subtotal here. You can see it at this point. Okay. Yeah, so once you select the subtotal now, then there are some other additional procedures that you are going to undertake. So in the subtotal, of course, you will have the dialog box, and you choose the column that you want to group. Okay. So you can see here at each change in. So this one refers to the column that you are going to have those particular groups, and of course it is in the drop down list. Now, so step number 6, of course, you will choose the function. Remember, I said you will have function like sum. You can have also average. You can also have the what? You can also have the maximum, minimum. All those work within the subtotal. Okay, and then step number 7, you add the subtotals in the checkbox list. Of course, you will select all the columns that it will apply, because this is a question of just checking. You check. When you click, you check. There's a tick. Then when you click again, you uncheck. So you will check all columns that will apply, and then now you click OK to apply the subtotals. So that's basically what happens, and we are going to do it practically. In terms of the subtotal, of course, it has the function name or the function number. Okay, it can be sum, it can be average, it can be maximum. Then we have the reference now. Okay, and this is the description of the total, the subtotal. You can have the first argument is basically the type of calculation that you want to do. The reference one is the arguments that specifies the first range. Okay, and these are optional. So we look at that. And this one is an example of a subtotal which we are going to look at. So now let's go to this Excel data. So now in this Excel data here, you have the data set. So what you do is to run the subtotal. First of all, click on any cell. Click on any cell. It could be here, it could be here. Should be here, should be there. Click on any cell and just come here. Yeah, click the subtotal. And when I do that, you can see automatically that the application is going to select the data set, including the headers or the column headers. Okay. Now, then we have this dialog box. So what we are going to have, so you can see the first item here, which has a drop-down list. It has the headers. It has the headers. So what do you want to get the subtotal for? Is it at each change in term? Is it at each change in last name? Or is it at each change in first name or admission number? Then we have the other column. So at the change in which column do you want to have that? Because we said it's going to have them into groups. Okay. Now then, the second part gives you the options of the function. So you can see here that one is you can get the sum, you can get the count, you can get the average, you can get the maximum value, you can get the minimum value, or the product. Okay, counting the number, standard deviation, all those functions. Okay, so it may not be a subtotal per se, it may be another function. It could be you want the averages, and so on, or you want to count. So you select the function here. Okay, and then once you select the function, now where are you going to add the subtotal? So you must select the column which has the values, because these functions here will only apply to numbers, the maximum, the minimum, the average. You may not, for example, choose column D, which is the first name, because it is a text. It's a string, and therefore you cannot choose that. Okay, so you're going to select here. You are going to select the column which you are going to add the subtotal to. And selecting it is very easy. You simply click on the box and it becomes checked. Okay, so you can see here, when I uncheck, then the subtotal will not be in any column. So you have to at least have one. You check one, which apply, and then down here, the last part here is you check so that, like for example, this first one, when it is checked, it means that when you keep running a subtotal, the earlier one will be replaced. Okay, it's going to be replaced. So this other one, page break between groups, when it has the subtotal, it's going to break. This one is particularly handy when you want to print separate copies. And we have the summary below the data. Of course, summary below the data will be after the data. So when you put here, you check here, this one normally comes by default. The first one here comes by default, then the second one comes by default. Okay. And then of course you will now click OK. So up here I've selected at each change in term, because I want the data to have the subtotal per term. And the function that I'm going to use here is sum. And the column that will be applicable here will be this column F, because it is currency amount. Okay. So let me see when I click OK. Now you can see here that we are going to have this column. Let me color it so that we are able to see. Yeah, let me color that. Now you can see that we talked about at each change in term, So you can see it is going to consider this column. So whatever has the same characteristics is going to be selected. So once it selects that, so it comes like this. When it reaches here, there is a change. There's a change. So at each change in the term, it's going to get the subtotal down here. That's why you can see, and it is putting it at the end. That's why we have that. Okay. Then again, in this column, we will have term 2, 2022. So you can see again that when it reaches here, it is changing again to term 1, 2023. So this change is captured. Okay. This change is going to be captured. And down here again, after term 1, 2023, again, this one is again put down there. You can see that. And then lastly, of course, we have this. We have that. And importantly, you can see now we have the grand total. The grand total was not there. Okay, it was not there. So this one is also coming automatically because it's going to get the sum at the end of it. So this 46, you are getting it from summing this. You sum that, and you sum down here. Okay, and you can be able to see that we are going to have the sum totals for the change in term, and then we are also going to have the grand total. Okay. Now, so that is it is straightforward. Once you select that, what you basically need to take note is the column that you are going to have at each change in means that the column that you are going to have the subtotal. So if there's a change, like for example, when you select last name as the column, then things will be different. Here. And I want you to practice on the same. I'll share this this data after this. Then you can vary. You can vary. Let me try one, and then we see what happens. Now, what I want here is I again click the subtotal. I click the subtotal, which is enter data. Okay. So I'll just have the subtotal here. Click that. And I click subtotal. Okay. So I'll be back there. Now let me change this first one. At each change in, let me say at each change in last name. So I click here, then say last name. Okay. And again, I retain the sum function, and then of course it's going to add in this one. And I say replace the current subtotal. I say okay. Now you can see here that the grouping now will move from column B to column C. And that's why you can see here, we have the what? We have the subtotal for Smith in term 1. And you can see the total is here. Okay. Now, we have the total for Jones in term 1, which is there also. Then we have a total for Jones, for John or Smith here. Then you're going to have like that. And again, you are going to have the grand total, which is still the same. So you will need to have, again, you can remember you can still have this one here as also at each change in first name. Okay. Yeah. Or at each change in admission number. Of course, admission number is unique, so it's one is the same thing. So subtotal is clear, and you can vary also the function you click the subtotal, and then instead of having the sum here, I can have the average. I can have the average, and then I say okay. And you can see that we have the average for Smith here. Yeah, you can see the average. And this average here is obtained by summing these three and of course totaling it down there. So automatically it has introduced a row. So there's a row which has been introduced automatically. It's not going to be manual as you'd have. Okay. So basically that's what subtotal does. And what I want to mention is something called a nested subtotal. Now, of course, this data here will have the total, will have the subtotal, but sometimes you may want to remove, you may want to remove this subtotal. And this one is basically, you'll basically go the same procedure. You click subtotal, and here you'll basically remove. You can see this one here. You remove all, and you can see all the subtotals will be removed. We are not going to have it in the data set again. Okay. So that's what we have. Then the last thing that I want to illustrate for this lesson, unless there's any question. Any question? Okay. If there's no question, I want to illustrate the nested totals. And as the name applies, it is basically having the subtotal within another subtotal. Okay. Like for example, you may have nested subtotal. You can total by at each change in term, and you can also have at each change in a last name. You can have both. Okay. So but what happens is that you introduce these subtotals at levels. So you'll have level 1. Maybe level 1 could be subtotal by at each change in term. Then we have the second level at each change in last name. Okay. And I want us to write that away. So we will have you will have again the use this subtotal, but of course this nested subtotal is you create more than one level. Yeah, you used to subtotal more than one level. Like now here we said you can use the term as one level. Yeah, this is level 1. So we'll have level 1 is the term, and we can have level 2. Level 2, which is the last name. The last name of the first last name, yes, last name, like that. So we have 2 levels. We have, this is the first level, which we will do, and this one is the second level. And we are going to follow that order because the first level you do the subtotal for the first, then you do the total, the level for the second. But of course, it's the same procedure. Okay. And of course, what happens is you select the cell within the range that you want to do. So if it is the second level, don't select the first column because you would have already selected. Okay. So like here, we have at each change in term, and then of course we are going to have the amount paid here. So when you have this, you make sure that the cursor is within the data set that you are trying to compute. So we will illustrate that one and see what we are going to have that we are going to have there. So this is the data set here. So of course, what I will do here, I'll select this because what I'm going to do is I'm going to create the first level. So I click subtotal, then I have the term. Let me have the sum, and then of course I add that amount to column on the current. I mean on the amount, and I click OK. So I've created the first level, and you can be able to see here if you look at your Excel sheet, you can see these tabs here. These tabs are just levels. So you can see here, this is term 1, which when I expand, you're going to have that, expand that, expand for all the data. You're going to have that. So I've created the first level of the subtotal. So I need to create the second one. Now, when I'm creating the second one, I need to select from here onwards. So I can select any here. Okay. And I'll just basically have, let me select this one, second one, because I'll use the last name. So again, I click subtotal. Then at level 2, I can now change to last name. Again, I maintain sum. Everything will be okay. I will stay the way it is, and then I click OK. Now you can see here that the values here will be different, as you can be able to see here, that now this one is the total for Smith, but in term 1. So this one, we use this one as level 1, then we use this one as level 2. And you can be able to see that it's going to group based on those two. And here we are going to have 7,000. 7,000 for Smith. We have 750 for Jones. We have the other one is 3,000 for Jones. I mean for Smith. Then we have we have this one here for Jones again, but term 2. So you can see now I have what? I have levels. So I have level 1 and level 2. And at the moment I click subtotal here, sorry, I click subtotal here, you can be able to see that I want to show that the two sub levels, you can as well also see from here, the left column. So you can see we have 2 levels here. We have level 1. Oh yes. Now this might be quite confusing for you. So yeah, I can have that. Okay, open this one, sir. We have these ones, yeah. Expand that. Now I think I've demonstrated the idea of nested subtotals. Nested means you are creating a subtotal within another subtotal. And I think that one should be straightforward. So I want to share this so that I'll share this data set so that you can practice even before you start your next class, which is Python, so that it will allow me to have the. Now, just to illustrate lastly, is the issue of the removing the subtotal. This is very important also. You can see here the procedure to remove is basically selecting the tool, and once you select, you click remove. Okay, so you simply click remove all, and all of it will be removed. Like here in this data set here, I'll basically click subtotal again, and then I click remove all. And when I remove all, of course, the subtotal will disappear. Of course, if you want to remove some, you will basically check and uncheck. Okay, check and uncheck, and then that one is going to get lost there. Now, thank you very much. Probably, if there's any question I can have, if there's any question or I can have any compliment, as I said, I would wish to stop a few minutes past 4. And let me have a question if this is there. You can unmute and say something if you have. Yvonne, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, I want to stop early today.
Okay.